All the bad things going on, the drug epidemic may be among the worst, if not the worst. More than 100,000 Americans died of drug ODs last year. Drugs came from China, mostly moved up with the help of the cartels through Mexico, through our open border. Fentanyl was the single biggest cause of death. Now, in a lot of cases, particularly with young people, these weren't really ODs, they were poisoning. People who ordered pills online, they were in fact fentanyl and killed them. They weren't drug addicts, they just made a mistake. We wanted to talk to someone who'd seen this happen. Everyone knows someone. It happened to Ed Ternan's son, Charlie. One of the saddest conversations, but most important conversations we've ever had. We sat down with him for an episode of Tucker Carlson Today, and we asked him what happened to your son and why. Here's part of it.
About a month before he was due to graduate, he and his friends decided, you know, we're going to forget what the administration says. We need to be together before our college careers are over. So we're all going back to campus. And he went back up to see his girlfriend and went back up to his fraternity house just to spend the last 4 weeks of his college career with his friends. And on a random Thursday afternoon, he had a job interview by telephone scheduled. And so when his fraternity brothers came and said, we're all going out to do whatever we do on a spring day, Charlie had to say, I can't go. I got this call to make. So when they left, he asked another friend if there was any Xanax in the house. And the idea was that, from what we put together, he said, I'm going to just stay home, wait for this phone call, and play video games, right? So he and his friend went on Snapchat because nobody in the house had any Xanax. And we learned that, this generation of young people is, born in around late 90s, early 2000s, is the generation that we really began kind of medicating for learning differences in anxiety and so forth. So they're very accustomed to taking prescription pills, even recreationally, and sharing them amongst themselves. So when nobody in the house had any, Charlie and his friend went on Snapchat and they found a dealer that had some. Charlie had a notoriously bad back. He'd had surgery the year before, and he noticed that this dealer who was advertising his wares also said he had Percocet. And Charlie said, I'm going to get a Percocet because my back's hurting. So apparently they made that transaction, and about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, some of Charlie's friends walked by his room, and he was doing exactly as he said he was going to do. He was in his bed playing video games, and he answered them back, and they walked on by. What we know is that he never made the 5 o'clock phone call for the job interview. So sometime between 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 5 o'clock in the evening, Charlie took one pill, which he was told was a Percocet, and he put it in his mouth. And the doctors say it killed him in about 15 minutes. And his friends found him later that evening in his bed, game controller in his hand, chin on his chest, dead from fentanyl poisoning.
Ed Ternan, a heartbroken father. That interview will make you cry. But you should watch it because this is happening to so many families, thousands of families around the country. So that interview is on Tucker Carlson Today tomorrow at 7 a.m. on Fox Nation.